The Ascension is usually represented in art with Jesus and the apostles up high on a mountain. They were, we believe, inspired by his healing, transformed by his teaching, and caught a vision of what Jesus wished for them, what Jesus wished for us, a kingdom of peace and justice, all the while becoming more than they ever thought they could ever be. They experienced something very, very important, very, very significant, most significant thing in their existence, perhaps in the existence of anyone that has ever lived. That is the miracle of the resurrection. And with all that adrenaline, they must have raced up that mountain in their ongoing contest to determine who was the greatest among them. And perhaps at once atop the mountain, they could look back and imagine just how far they had come. But going up the mountain is so often what we seek as well. That's so often what we prepare for, to ascend to those places, the mountaintop. But we ask ourselves, what happens when you reach the top and it levels out? And chances are that you may feel a bit deluded or disappointed, that all of your striving, there were these things that you wanted to accomplish, and perhaps on the way missed out on a great deal. Most of us, after we get to the top, we don't think about the journey down. And that perhaps seems a bit unnatural, that journey downward. The disciples perhaps resisted it at first. And perhaps we assumed that the way of faith is always a journey going up. But it's actually also a story of coming down. Christ coming all the way down into our brokenness, our woundedness, our humanity, our fear. And then Christ's people following in that same path. The message of Jesus, I think, from the manger all the way to the cross, from the tomb to the Mount of Ascension, is that the world is changed not from the top, but from the bottom. That it is not his strength that saves the world, but that it is his enduring love. And perhaps the disciples eventually realized that they had to make the walk down, just as Jesus had taught them, from the Mount of the Ascension to the city, to Jerusalem, to the people. And thank God for the community that followed from that experience of Jesus and his Spirit, eventually came to include you and me. And so we make that journey as Christians to Jerusalem, and we are called to follow in that same way. And if we follow, we may find ourselves walking downhill. And sometimes walking downhill can be more difficult than walking uphill.